wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Toker, your friendly neighborhood colorectal surgeon, and we are talking gut stuff. The saga continues. I'm hopeful that we have fixed the formatting problem for our videos. Now, I don't want to celebrate too soon because I have found the second one thing goes right, everything else falls apart. But if you're listening on Spotify, you have no clue what I am talking about, but the Instagram people absolutely know. I have put those people through some torture. We are streaming this to YouTube, and we will post it as an intact video later on to Rumble. And this way it is on all of the platforms and hopefully in a visible format so that you can see the slides. And then I am content just to have the slide showing, but I am told that people like to see that I am the one speaking when they see the slides. So that's cool too. And so here we are. Our conversation today, as always, is sponsored by a company called Super Patch. And the topic for the day is one that I really lean heavily on Super Patch for in regards to a program that I've created for our body composition weight management patients. So that protocol I have sort of earmarked as something called a clean patch protocol because we're combining a clean diet, lifestyle manipulation, as well as this vibrotactile technology patch. And by doing so, we are trying to achieve an improved body composition without resorting to medications. Now, not everyone wants to do it all natural, right? So some people are gonna want an appetite suppressant. And I would never chastise those people because I have been someone who has tried to lose weight and can't. And I absolutely can appreciate the desire for a little support, a little boost, a little kickstart, as it were. And so we absolutely can use all of these technologies and an injectable medicine at the same time. And many of our patients in the med spa opt for that approach. And then when they're done spending all the money on the injections, we can transition them off of those medicines and they can maintain their newfound happiness without the prescription. So that's kind of where I'm leaning, where we're going. So the super patch technology that I like to utilize for this purpose is their product called Ignite. And Ignite is, there's no medicines like all the other super patches. There's no medicines. This patch will increase your basal metabolic rate up to 15% just by wearing it. And the reason for that, part of your autonomic nervous system that is in charge of your basal metabolic rate. And it's also in charge of your wakefulness. And so this patch can kind of help solve the conundrum that you're tired at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Instead of reaching for an energy drink, something with caffeine or something with lots of sugar in it, this is a nice little support mechanism whereby maybe you don't have the need to reach for something like that. And that will also help you achieve your goals. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today is utilizing Super Patch in addition to a clean diet. What do I mean by that? On improving things. I love the vibrotactile technology. There's no medication in it. It's safe for all ages. It's even safe in pregnant women and breastfeeding, although pregnant women and breastfeeding women should not be trying to lose weight. So if you are pregnant, now is not the time for the Ignite patch. Feel free to try some of the others. Breastfeeding women also should not be losing weight. They need to support another human being, which is far more important than your dress size. Although everyone should be eating clean, so let's talk about a little bit of that. Now, in the modern era, I would say 55 to 60% of the population is considered obese. Like, this is BMI over 30. There are now categories of super obese, which didn't even exist when I was in medical school. Like, no one ever heard of such a thing. But there are now people who have a BMI of 70. And for your reference, a BMI under 25 is normal. Between 25 and 30 is overweight. And a BMI over 30 is obese. And so there's a huge swath of the population that has a BMI over 30. The overwhelming, probably 2/3 of the population has a BMI at least of 25 and over. So it's a huge problem. And the question, and this is very new, very new, and which is why I kind of got interested in this topic. What's causing us to be so sick and heavy? Is it the food? Yeah. Is it the water? Potentially, yes. Is it pollution? Uh-huh. So so it's all of it, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Because of this overweight scenario, people want to reach for medication and make it better. Hey, welcome to the world of big pharma, right? We have found the solution, and this is a genius medicine. I'm gonna hand it to them. GLP-1 is a naturally occurring peptide in your body. After you eat, your body makes GLP-1. It only lasts for a couple of minutes. It tells your stomach that you are full. It slows the rate of emptying of food from your stomach into your intestines. And this helps regulate how many carbohydrates hit the intestines all at once, which helps regulate how much you absorb. And then it also tickles the pancreas and says, hey, heads up, because your blood sugar is about to go up. So it primes the pancreas a little bit in the insulin response. It slows the rate of absorption of carbohydrates. And that stabilizes blood sugar. And what we all know is, in fact, the layperson knows it's so prevalent. Hell, you can go to TikTok and figure this out. If you can control blood sugar and blood sugar spikes, then you can start making changes in your metabolism that help you lose unwanted fat. So I'm not talking about weight, I'm talking about percent body fat. That's what we're trying to get rid of. So the pharmaceutical version of GLP-1, that's semaglutide, Wegovy, tirzepatide, which is Mounjaro. And those medications are injections that last a week. They're extraordinarily expensive. They have all kinds of side effects because they're so long lasting. Once it's down the hatch, it's it. There's no taking it back. You have to start it with extremely small doses and work your way up. And if you get too big of a dose because someone didn't explain that to you and you're not really being observed taking this medicine, you could be in a heap of trouble. So these medications are not without their problems. They are brilliant in that it really functions well as an appetite suppressant, and truly it's a diabetic medicine, and it does help control your blood sugar levels. By doing that, it does help you lose your percent body fat. Here is the problem. That if you only relied on that medicine and no other issue, then you would also lose muscle mass. And it is your muscle mass which is responsible for your metabolism. Your basal metabolic rate is driven by your muscle mass. That muscle mass is burning calories while you sleep. It allows you to eat more calories and not gain any weight, right? So you want muscle mass. If you are not doing the proper exercises on GLP-1 medications. If you're not eating properly, you'll lose muscle mass. And you can see it in these patients who've been on semaglutide for longer than a couple of months. They start to look ill. Their hair will thin, their face will get gaunt, they'll be tired. And reason being, they're not eating properly. Now, if you take these patients, feed them properly, get them to the gym, have them working out, measure their biometrics, make sure they're eating properly, teach them how to eat properly, make sure they're getting their sleep. All of a sudden, these are healthy appearing patients. And then those are also patients you can get off the medicine um, one day. Because if you don't educate the patients, every time they come off the medicine, the weight comes back plus. So the other thing is, from a medical standpoint, there's liability in giving this medicine because there's complications. So let's talk about trying to do without it if we can. Or if you're on this medicine and you don't have a doctor, you just have like Mick Doctor online, you might want to hear what I have to say. All right. So it is sick. There are 6 components to naturally improving your body composition. So the point of this lecture is to talk about those 6 components and how outside the world of medicine, we're going to improve your body composition. You want to eliminate, and I've already done lectures on these things. So, I mean, I've been trying to teach you how to do this for the last 2 months. Some of this might look familiar to you. We want to eliminate toxins. I am going to do a deep dive research in the next week or so to start the process of lectures on detox. We'll start with liver detox because the liver is so critical. And then we'll move on to blood flow, intestinal tract detox, and then kidney, urine, sort of skin detox. So we'll talk about that in the future. A few weeks ago, we talked about managing your blood sugar. We just talked about managing your blood sugar. Caloric deficit, I want to rebrand caloric deficit into caloric changes. I don't know that you need less calories. You just need better calories, and we'll talk about that. Muscle maintenance. What can we do to maintain our muscle mass and our metabolism? Retraining the microbiome. It's kind of what I do for a living. And then blunt the stress response. Lord, have mercy on my soul. This is exactly why I cannot lose my last 10 pounds. It's stress. My stress. All right, eliminating toxins. We talked about this. You want to be on organic, non-GMO, free-range foods with minimal to no processing. The fewer steps that it took to go from the farm to your table, the better. And honestly, it's not the food process itself, it's the packaging, it's the machinery involved. So even if it's grown perfectly organic, how did they pluck it out of the ground? What did they store it in? What was it sitting next to? How long did it sit in the store? Was it sprayed with anything along the way? Does it have that Edapeel stuff on it? I mean, all these things are toxins, and the toxins are what's getting us. The more you process the food, the more likely you're going to have these forever plastics in your body, and that's part of what's making you sick. Okay, so farm to table as quickly as possible. If you're trying to lose body fat, if your stated goal is I want less body fat, one of the things you're going to have to do is deprive yourself of very simple carbohydrates because those things drive up your blood sugar. And elevated blood sugar causes your body to deposit fat. That's just kind of how physiology works. So you want to avoid the white starches. The simplest thing to do is if it's white, if it's a carbohydrate, toss it. The only white you can have is an egg white. Okay. You really, really have got to get rid of gluten, which is wheat. And you really, really have to get rid of granulated sugar. And that's a shame because I love both of those things. Damn it. You also want to get rid of artificial sweeteners because those are just as toxic to you as the white sugar. In fact, they're more toxic than granulated sugar. And you do not want to do canola oil or other refined vegetable oils. It's the refining process that contains the chemicals that are bad for you, the seed oils. So if you got a bunch of sunflower seeds and you ground them up and you strained the fresh pressed oil yourself, that would probably be okay. It would go very rancid very quickly because it's an awesome food source for bacteria. And so manufacturing processes want to extend the shelf life, which means they are going to refine these oils, and it's that refining process that ruins them. So that's I'm not against canola. I'm against the process by which it got to your house. Okay, number 2, managing your blood sugar. Now this is critical, and I will tell you, um, I feel like I've done a decent job managing my blood sugar, doing a couple of things, and we'll talk about the education here in a minute. But I'm learning along the way that biometric testing is extraordinarily important, and I'll talk to you about that. So the process of fat storage is dependent on a number of hormones. Insulin and glucagon are the ones you've probably heard the most of, insulin in particular. Most modern supervised diets are playing on this insulin pathway because we know this is critical. You've got to have a proper balance of macronutrients, and unfortunately, in really processed foods, they tend to have a lot of sugar, a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of fat, and they tend not to have a lot of protein. And you need to shift that balance. So if you want to change your body composition, the composition of your daily meals has got to change. Can't eat the same composition and expect to look any different in the mirror. You got to change it. Okay. The way to make these changes are, 1, little bits at a time. Don't kick yourself when you mess up. You see a gummy bear and you reach for it. I'm not going to blame you. Love a good gummy bear. The apricot ones, my particular favorite. Those are the clear ones. I love the clear ones. I don't know. It's just my favorite. Anyway, education is the key to success. There are a couple of educational programs that I'm going to suggest. The first and foremost, and I used to try to educate people in my weight loss program. It was me doing all the education. It's extremely time consuming. It's difficult to keep the little herd together. And I met a couple of people almost 2 years ago. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long, but it has been. It's been almost 2 years ago. And they designed a program where all the education is set in place with online coaching and training and meetings, and with a community that's pretty supportive of each other at a reasonable cost that you buy once and it's yours forever. So there's no monthly recurring fees. And so it is, for this reason, I bundle in their program into our current weight loss programs because their information is so critical. It's called PFC3. There's a QR code on the PDF there that you can see that will take you to a purchase page, so to speak. They typically charge $250, somewhere in that range, for a 100-day program. But again, it's yours for life, which means the coaching is yours for life. You will see me every now and then on those coaching trainings. This company, the two that created it, Mark McDonald, who's a nutritionist, and Carrie Lapoli, who's a behavioral specialist, they have a TV show, which is a streaming internet TV show on a platform called Brinx.tv, Brinx.tv. And they have a TV show called Food Freedom. And I am on that show once a week, sometimes twice a week. Every now and then, when one of the hosts is missing, they let people like me take over. There's chaos ensues when I'm on the show. But usually I cover hot topics and we talk about nutrition, we talk about gut health. We talk about health trends and what it means to your health. And so it's a fun show. It's the most watched nutrition show in America, and I highly suggest you get a free a subscription to Brinks TV. They have never ever spammed me ever in my email. You just sign up. That way you can watch all the Food Freedom episodes. We've done, gosh, over 100 by now. And it's mighty entertaining and very educational. So that's an add-on program that's free, and the PFC3 is a paid program. I have a program on time management, which bundles in a lot of these concepts. It is currently on sale for 25 bucks. That was my original weight loss program that I condensed down. So if you want to go to my website, dranatoker.com, we should have a link for that going up. So you can access that, and that's pretty inexpensive also. So that's your education. Now, the VTT technology from Super Patch, the trifecta for my clean patch protocol is the Ignite, which I talked about, that improves your metabolism by 15%. The Liberty patch we've talked about in the past does a couple of things. It is the baseline reset for the autonomic nervous system as a whole. It is helpful for vagal nerve homeostasis, which helps gut health, which also helps you lose weight. As it turns out, because all of those nerves in the autonomic nervous system are extraordinarily close to your cerebellum, that it improves your balance. So a Liberty patch is extraordinarily important. If you're an older person with poor balance, then I would wear one of those just for the balance. If you're trying to improve a medical ailment, that is the first one to apply. And then, do you need others? I personally struggle very much so with stress as a cause of elevated blood sugar. In fact, my blood sugar, I started doing a continuous blood sugar monitor. It's called Synos. And my website, we're going to put a link up on the website to their company. They have their own doctor. They'll do an intake for you. And they're just to make sure that you don't have, a chronic skin ailment, or you're on blood thinners, or some reason you can't apply the monitor. The information you get from that for that monitor is critical. My blood sugar at night is spiking all night long, and it's just because of my adrenal glands. So when I wear a peace patch, it calms that down. I am working. This is one of the reasons I'm working with Mark and Carrie on a blood sugar stabilization supplement. For people like me, I'm not diabetic. It kind of sucks that I'm so tightly wired. And that affects my blood sugar. And you know what? I'm not alone. I suspect that 95% of the people out there who struggle with their weight, this is one of the things that's happening to them. You're under extraordinary stress, and it's just the modern life. I did a 45-minute lecture on this not too long ago. If you have interest in that topic, please go back and take a look at that. And I'll probably do another lecture on that also, because it's an important topic. But anyway, manage your blood sugar. That's all I've got to say. You will never, ever decrease your percent body fat if you have adrenaline or cortisol coursing through your body. I gained 20 pounds because they put me on steroids, and I'm telling you, I cannot get that weight off. I got half of it off. It's that last half. I'm desperate. I'm on a journey. And so, of course, this is why I suggest the Ignite. I wear that 24 hours a day for my calorie burn. Okay. You want to maintain muscles. Why? Because that is your basal metabolic rate. You can't just slap on an Ignite patch and then go eat pizza every day and expect to have a change in your body mass composition. That's not how that works. These patches are for support. You need to build your own muscle mass, and you're going to do that with weight-resistant exercises. You're going to do that by getting a whole food source of protein, and whether that's from meat, fish, eggs, or veggie, don't care, as long as it's a complete 20 amino acid regimen. It is helpful for your joints, And for your GI tract, if you take a hydrolyzed collagen supplement with hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, you don't have to do that. If you get all 20 amino acids in your life and you eat some citrus fruit, and then get a supplement called hyaluronic acid. You can get that naturally in sweet potatoes. There are ways to get these components, and your body will know what to do with them. It just takes a long time. If you are getting bone broth soup, your body will absorb that nicely, and it's faster to the fun. That'll be much more effective, quicker. Um, get yourself an organic bone broth soup. Okay, there are some supplements, and I'm going to read them out to you real quick. I do suggest you get the PDF so you can, these are my hacks. This is what my patients take. Number one, there was a published paper probably 3 or 4 years ago about a supplement called HMB. And if you take HMB, especially if you're over the age of 55, like me, I'm over the age of 55. You take HMB, 1,500 milligrams twice a day. It will help you maintain your muscle mass even if you can't exercise. The only reason it looks like I am somewhat fit is because I take the supplement because I've not really been able to do much by way of exercise. I'm getting better, getting better. However, this supplement's been critical for me personally. Vitamin D seems to augment the HMB. Vitamin D is critical to a lot of these things. It's critical to microbiome health. We might have to do a talk on supplements one day. N-acetylcysteine is my go-to. It's a glutathione precursor. CLA, that is a conjugated linoleic acid. That is a essential fatty acid. And I know you're trying to lose fat, and I'm telling you to eat fat. Yeah. Yes. Starving yourself of fat is not going to make you skinny. You got to have healthy fats. I know. I know. They're there. It's going to be okay. There's something called an adaptogen. I personally take these things. Plus, I do my peace patch. It helps a lot. The adaptogens are called ginseng and ashwagandha. There's one called rhodiola as well. These are all to blunt the stress response and support you if you're kind of tightly wired as I am. There is some evidence that rhodiola in particular, and probably ashwagandha, and probably ginseng will improve your blood sugar levels. And I'm certain that it's because it calms down the adrenal gland. It's one of the reasons why my blood sugar improves when I wear a peace patch. Peace patch is not for your blood sugar. It's for your stress levels. And when you calm down your stress, you have this natural secondary effect where it helps your blood sugar. I have pitched in my 2 cents worth of advice in the development of a digestive product that comes out in 1 month. And believe me, we're going to be talking about that a lot. I love this product, and I will talk more about it later, but it has a prebiotic, a probiotic, digestive enzymes, bitter herbs, and it's designed to help improve blood sugar control. It's designed to help with IBS symptoms. And as a nice side effect, it does help tend to decrease your percent body fat and improve your body composition. That's a complete side effect. That is not what its intended purpose is. But when you combine a clean diet, behavioral changes with the proper supports through supplements in these patches, I'm telling you, you can make an enormous difference in your life. I've seen it. Retraining the microbiomes is a very important concept, and I hit on it very briefly 10 minutes ago. You cannot eat the same composition foods and expect your personal body composition to change. Even if you deprive yourself of calories, if the composition of what you're eating calls you to gain weight, eating less of that same exact composition is not going to help you lose weight. Okay, so you truly need to change. The reason being is you have trained your microbiome by eating the same stuff every single day. It's like taxes, right? If you tax something, you get less of it. And if you don't tax something, you get more of it. All right. So if you are feeding a certain amount of bacteria, you're giving tax refunds, you're going to get a lot more of that bacteria. However, if you're not giving out a tax refund, you're getting less of that bacteria. So the bacteria in your intestinal tract are growing and shrinking in their population based on what you eat. If you want to feel better, you're gonna have to completely change the way you eat. Not forever, but probably for 3 to 6 months. One of the things I do highly suggest is microbiome testing. Biometric testing, I'm telling you, is gonna help. It's gonna help guide you so you're not so blind. The blood sugar monitoring is helpful, and this microbiome is helpful. Now, I don't have a code to make the blood sugar thing any less expensive, but I do have one to make the microbiome thing less expensive. If you type in Dr. Toker at the checkout, they'll give you $100. Actually, they'll give you $110 off. This is going to help guide the what do I and what don't I eat question. How do I change the composition of my food? I know that's what you're asking. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and I know that's what you're asking. Well, let someone tell you, right? You poop in a little bucket and you send it off to some lab somewhere. They do this analysis. They ask you a bunch of questions 2 or 3 weeks later. They're going to give you the rundown. They're going to say you got too much of this bacteria, too little of this bacteria. You need to stop eating this food. You need to start eating that food because they're trying to starve what you have too much of and they're trying to feed what you don't have enough of, if that makes sense. It's why they told me to eat sardines. And I said I wasn't going to eat sardines, but I've been eating sardines. And, honestly, kind of grows on you. I know what you're thinking. If you get the smoked ones, you got to get the wild caught smoked ones from the Mediterranean. That's that's my sardine hack. If you have to do the sardines. Now, from an educational standpoint, when it comes to the microbiome, of course, I'm going to suggest some of my education. Obviously, that's why I'm here. I have a full 100 conversation lecture series that you take as long as you need to go through that. You can do one a day if you want to. It's kind of how it's designed, but there's so much information in there, especially at the end of each, like, okay, here's the problem. This is the situation. I always put, okay, what can you do about it? It may take you a while to kind of, it might take you a year to get through that entire 100 conversation protocol. So take your time, go through that. The cost of that program is less than what I charge for a 30-minute consultation. And frankly, you get me sort of forever, in your little app. I drop little videos like this one once a week. And I am going to try to make it a little bit more interactive when I figure it out. I need a consultant for that. But we're going to try to turn it into an app and make it a little bit more interactive so that there's more of a community so people can share advice. Right now, there are comments. I just don't know if everyone gets to see all the comments. And I do answer all those questions in the comments. So it's another way to access me that's very reasonably priced. Okay, reduce stress. Is it my thing? You gotta know thy enemy. Know thyself and know thy enemy, right? That's an old Greek saying. Stress causes all kinds of havoc throughout your body, starting with an inflammatory response in your intestinal tract and an alteration of the microbiome. And so, honestly, that can cause insulin resistance, change in your blood sugar levels, and it can cause you to not only lose weight, but make it impossible for you. It makes you gain weight, it makes it impossible for you to lose weight. And by losing weight, I mean fat mass. My personal answer to that problem is this peace patch, which is extraordinarily helpful. And I find that if I use the sleep patch at night, and wear that peace patch 24 hours a day, it makes a remarkable improvement on my blood sugar levels, both fasting and postprandial. They're not supposed to do that. That's not a claim that I'm making about these patches. It's just a personal observation in myself. And so, hey, get a blood sugar monitor. I used my health savings account for that. Use your health. I used my health savings account for the Viome thing too. Do those things, and then start playing with these patches and see what does and doesn't work for you, because everyone is a little bit different. It's like, when you're on an airplane and it's about to crash, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, right? So heal yourself first. What I love about the educational programs, whether it is mine or it's Mark and Carrie's, the PFC3, these are yours for life, so that when the wheels fall off and life catches up and you fall off the rails and you forget, you just fire it back up, hop back on the bandwagon and relearn what's going on. Then bring your family with you. It's the beauty of the program is more than one person can open up the laptop and glean information from this. I would, for copyright reasons, please do not sell my program. Oh, you can be an affiliate, by the way. I do have an ability to, if you're a trainer, if you're a fitness trainer, feel free to become an affiliate. And then I will be doing some trainings. If I actually get affiliates to sign up, we'll start training people on how to talk people through the microbiome. It just is going to take some time for me to get organized. Testing, blood sugar monitoring, your microbiome, check your muscle mass. Get one of those scales. I have a very expensive one in my office. I'm not saying spend $15,000 like I did. For probably 50 or 60 bucks. They've got scales where you can stand on them barefooted, and they will give you your percent body fat, and there's apps for your phone that will do the math, that will then reverse calculate what your muscle mass, your skeletal muscle mass, SMM, is. You want to see that skeletal muscle mass stay the same or go up, and you want to see that percent body fat to go down. You will recognize a remodeling of your body. You will start seeing the remodeling of your body before you step on a scale and recognize that you've lost weight, which is one of these reasons why I don't want people focusing on the weight. I don't want the fast answer to the weight loss, because I want you to remodel your body in a healthy way. Get that BMI to 25. I mean, 26 is considered overweight. So, like 25 should be your goal. You'll feel better. Your joints will feel better. You'll have a lot more energy. You'll sleep better at night. You'll live longer. We're trying to prevent you from getting Alzheimer's and autoimmune diseases and all kinds of problems, cancer. And you can do that by taking control today and now. Really, and it starts with your blood sugar. And controlling your blood sugar is going to start with eating a clean, healthy diet, small meals throughout the day. Start with your protein first. Eat every 3 hours. Monitor that blood sugar. Do a microbiome test so you know what you should and shouldn't be eating for the next 6 months. And then join us on our little journey. And you know what? Bring along the super patch. That stuff is gold. I am telling you, it is real hardcore science. And I know it's very difficult for you to wrap your mind around because it's so unique. But it is true fact science. The only naysayers I have seen on the internet are people who are distributors for other quote unquote patches. Those other patches are not competition to Super Patch, because those other patches have stuff in them, vitamins or herbs or medications. This has none of that. This is truly working on your nervous system to set you at a homeostasis. It makes an enormous change in your life. And I'm telling you, if you use that for support and you educate yourself, and you maintain the biometric testing, And if you truly feel like, no, you gotta have support from a medicine standpoint, that's cool. Find a doctor, find someone who's gonna educate you, or you can do these educational programs and then have your regular doctor prescribe those other medicines. If you want them, just know I don't want you on those medicines forever because 'cause they're damaging. And you truly can reawaken your body's own GLP-1 if you do it properly. And I'm actually, doing some research to try to find just the right supplement blend that when you combine with these 6 things, will absolutely help, wake up your own GLP-1, so you don't need to spend $1,000 a month on it. Alrighty, you know what? How did I do that in 41? That's 4 fewer minutes than I normally speak. I almost feel like I could sit here and just talk another 4 minutes on for funsies. But I won't bore you. I will remind you to go to my website, dranatoger.com. Check out all the different pages. Please go to the things that I love. That's our little shop area. All the sponsors to our platform, Super Patch is one of them. Check them out. Those are all things that I personally use in my own life, and I find them helpful to me. Slowly but surely, 1% at a time, we're getting better, right? We will start the process next week, talking about the detox of your body. And we're going to start with the liver and we're going to work our way. I think I'm going to have to do it in 3 parts. We're going to do liver, then we're going to do intestinal tract, and then we're going to do kidney and skin in one. So I think those are the next 3 lectures that we're going to do. And I think it'll be fascinating. As per usual, you can see me on YouTube and Rumble. We post the short reels to TikTok. We do the streams and the long reels, the short reels to X. I do have a Telegram channel, which and a LinkedIn, which I do not use well enough, but I'm working on it. So you can check us out there, and of course on Spotify. I am excited. I've got 100 people that are willing to drive to work while I talk and talk about your gut health. Hi there, Spotify people. I love you. So, anyway, I hope everyone's doing well, and we will see you next time because we're going to be talking gut stuff once again.